What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Core Report. This past week, we saw Big T calling his shot in the Discord before shipping over $150K in PGA.
You don't know what you're missing if you're not in our premium Discord. Big T literally handed the winners to our subscribers before lock, giving away his strategy of mixing specific early start golfers into his player pool. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to use the promo code RPSHeater25 to knock 25% off your first payment on monthly or weekly subscriptions, not including SaberSim.
Our DFS side wasn't the only one to crush this weekend. Keg and Coop were on fire with NASCAR betting winners yet again, clearing over 11 units on Keg's live betting show.
Keg streams over 40 hours weekly of live premium betting content and is regularly picking winners with the bets team. For only $40 a month, you can access the Kegcast and start crushing responsibly too. You will also want to subscribe to our YouTube channel to get Keg, Coop, and JJ's early thoughts on the NASCAR DFS and betting slate weekly every Sunday before lock. Our viewers crush. Just ask Pinto Got Flow, who shipped $14K after using Big T's winners from the 4th of July MLB show. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and set your alerts so you don't miss out.
As always, congrats to our premium members on some big hits recently.
Landa has been on a heater, hitting for 2K and 3K in back-to-back slates. Rookie B making cash, shipped over 6,500 in esports. King D3 hit for over 10K in MLB this weekend. B-Dozer shipped 50K in PGA on DraftKings.
And shout out to our guy AP for hitting 10K in tennis this weekend. As a reminder, all sports are included in our low monthly subscription. That is all for this week. We will see you next time.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Run Pure Sports. I guess we can call this the morning show. I don't know, but we're talking some MLB baseball. We're talking the early slate, talking the 4-game slate. We had a nice little 4th of July, had a ton of MLB winners on that one during the early slate and the main slate. Last night, Hoop shipped 100K. Tony had a big golf win, so I wanted to get all the people on. I wanted to talk about this 4-game early slate. People in the chat wanted it, so we're delivering it for you guys because that's what we do at Run Pure Sports. So if you haven't signed up, go sign up now. Use that code RPSHeater25. Get you 25% off your first payment. But I got to bring in Hoop first after the nice little win. He's eating some food, bringing out some winners. So Hoop, how is it going over there? And tell us about last night a little bit.
Yeah, just grilled myself some chicken here. Got a little pasta salad, so I'll be finishing this up throughout the show. But yeah, I got the big win last night, and I was honestly more focused on FanDuel. I had some really good teams on FanDuel. I think I had 5 teams in the top 20 basically all night, so I was really focused in over there because I knew I faded Kikuchi. I was like, I didn't play him on FanDuel. I played Wood over Kikuchi. We talked about it on the Up to Lock show. So I had a bunch of like Philly stacks with these Dodgers guys. I had a bunch of Houston stacks, Philly stacks. I had all the combinations. And, just waiting on something to happen for the Dodgers. I honestly didn't even think I had a chance on DK because I knew I had Kikuchi on basically every team. So it was kind of later in the night, and I pulled it up and I saw it was like shipping, and this team, I guess it must have been shipping all night. It had the Phillies, which was in my core, all 5 Phillies guys in my core. The way it worked, though, was random with the Bryson Stott, I believe. He was in there and he was cheap. At second base, there's just nothing I liked at second base. I said, I'll just punt this off. And it left you a ton of different options if you played the core, where you could, like we talked about before we hopped on here with Big T, you could have played any other big team. Well, I played Houston, but it wasn't the popular Houston guys. I played Bregman, Diaz, and then Alvarez, who's obviously popular. And we always talk about if you're going to stack Houston, I mean, you got to include Alvarez. So Bregman was like 4%, I think. Diaz was basically unowned, and those guys both went off. But really, I didn't think I had a chance on DK because I had Kikuchi negative 8.15 and still shipped. And actually, it wasn't even all that close. I mean, kind of ran away with it a little bit. I mean, it looked like it got close at the end with the Dodgers guys. The guy chasing me looked like he had like Max Muncy and stuff, but still ended up winning pretty easily. So, yeah, we take it. We move on and try to find some winners here again today.
Yeah, so I can talk a little bit about hoops too, because I had my tweet teed up all night I was following on FanDuel and DK too. I didn't have Philly, so I knew I wasn't going to ship, but I was still doing pretty good. And I was watching hoops teams on FanDuel, like he said. Then I went to DK, seeing he was winning. He actually had to fade some Dodgers in the ninth. He probably doesn't even know it. Had to fade some Dodgers action in the ninth from that dude. I was rooting it on, ready. I almost sent my tweet early too, because I thought he had it locked up, and luckily I didn't. And then I would just wait until the morning to send it, because I would have felt bad if I sent it. And because it did look like it was a lock. And then I seen this team with Dodgers coming. Yeah. But what I wanted to talk about is teams too. Like, it's just perfect construction. And all these guys in chat, I know I talk about this on all these shows, but their pitch, it was a shitty pitcher night. Everyone in chat just tilting like, oh, I'm dead. I got this dude. I got that dude. Like, you're not freaking dead. I've said this 1,000 times on these shows. Hoop won with -8. I know it was high stakes, but you can play a $5, however many man the 888 was last night. I'm sure it was not that many people in the thing. There's smaller stakes, same idea too. Like, you can win with negatives if you have offense. I just get so tired of people tilting all night when stuff. There was no pitching. Well, it's not like freaking Cy Young's on the slate where he's going to score 38 points and you got -6. I just don't get it. And Hoop's team last week in the Millie was just as good with the same construction, where he's got a big offense. He's got the 3 one-offs that are high upside. The 2 Houston guys on his Millie team, Jordan and Tucker. And probably Pena or somebody was his third. Same thing last night with the Houston mini stack. I mean, it's just great construction. So you can learn a lot from what Hoop's doing on those teams. Don't worry about ownership. Don't worry about all this stuff other sites are telling you to worry about. Jam those dudes in there and don't worry about it. Perfect construction.
I will say the one thing I think with those slates that I felt like I definitely nailed, and when it's a bad pitching slate, and I think, Tony, you showed it a little bit. I know Hoop's good at doing that too. It's just like, you don't have to play, like, and I know Hoop shipped with Kikuchi, but like, you don't have to play him. Just go to the bottom, right? I know Hoop likes to do that a lot. Like, get your big bats in there, prioritize those bats, and like, be okay with taking a pitcher that like no one plays. You know what I mean? Like, that's an okay thing to do on those slates. People might make fun of you for it, but at the end of the day, if the pitching doesn't
They're not making fun of it when it's up in that one hole.
Well, I mean, the main thing on a slate like last night, pitching, what did everyone want to talk about all day long? Pitching. That's all people wanted to talk about was pitching. Even like the Discord, they're talking about pitching. In the YouTube chat, they're talking about pitching. On a slate like that, that's the last thing you should be talking about. You should be talking about offense. How do you win this slate with offense? Offense was going to win that slate last night with those pitchers. It didn't matter. If you had a strong lean on pitcher, sure, plug them in there, but don't spend your time trying to figure out which pitcher is going to win the slate. You need to figure out which offense is going to win the slate. So many busts last night at the pitcher position, like on slates like that where it's so nasty at pitcher. I don't care. Like, I'm not spending time figuring out what I'm doing at pitcher. Yes, I ended up playing a lot of Kikuchi, Garcia, but none of that ended up mattering in the long run. I mean, you could have spent 8 hours looking at pitching last night, and it wouldn't have helped you one bit. You just had to play your offenses, get the right combinations in there, and that's what really matters on slates like that. Yes, obviously it's easy to say in hindsight after having a big night shipping 100,000, but honestly, I think that's the mindset you should have on those shitty pitcher slates. Like, who cares who you play? Just play the guys. I mean, we ended up, Tony, on the main up to lock show, we ended up getting on the 5.2K guy.
He crushed too. He was the best player of the slate.
He was probably the highest scoring pitcher, I think, when it was all said and done.
Definitely when you factored in all the offense. He might not have been like the actual leading scorer, but he was the best play without a doubt.
And we talked into that. What, Spencer Howard? He sucked, but I mean, it didn't matter. Like, I would have loved to have Howard over Kikuchi on that team and just left the money out there. So It is what it is.
Hoop, to put into perspective, like when I looked at pitching, I kept trying to figure out, well, what should I do? How can I make it different if I want to? And like, honestly, like literally at the buzzer, I was like, let me just do Quintana, right? Like, it was just like, let me just go for it. And like, there was no analysis in there. And it was like, it was just like, hey, the Yankees aren't that good. And he hasn't been that bad this year. So it was like, we shouldn't have spent as much time on that, right? We should spend it on the bats. We talked about it on the show too. Get in the bats that you want to, right? Yes, you could make the argument that like getting like the Phillies offense yesterday, who I liked, one reason I liked it was because the value that you could get in those top end pitchers if you wanted to. But at the end of the day, you just want to have the best offense. You just want to have the best bats. Just because like if you played that cheap Philly stack and you didn't have Kyle Schwarber, you were dust. Like, it's just simple. Like, so
yeah, you weren't shipping without Schwarber.
Correct. I mean, once you saw the second home run, you were closing the lap.
And I didn't have Schwarber. So I was doing the Mangone, rooting on my mid cash all night.
And the
And
min
root
cash
on
run
Hoop.
is never a bad thing. It's always keeps the night going on if you got nothing out of there. But
I'll say it though, from my side, I can give the other side too. Like just from people, like I knew I wasn't going to ship because I didn't have Schwarber in the Phillies, but I still made money last night. And it's because of the big offenses. I still had Houston. I can't even remember now off the top of my head, Houston, Dodgers, Atlanta. Atlanta was awesome. And the same strategy Hoop used that won 100K. I didn't have Philly, so I wasn't going to ship, but it's still the same strategy, jamming those offenses, not worrying about pitching. My pitching sucked just like everyone's. And it was still, you still hang in there. And those are the nights that keep you going towards the 100K hits like Hoop got last night. Instead of getting like zero back by playing Toronto stack, I know we talked kind of everyone off on the premium show, getting off that Toronto team. Play teams like that, you're just drawing dead. And yeah, I mean, it was still the nights that you min cash and survive are the nights that keep you going into the 100K hits.
No,
it's
sure.
important because then it gives you some hope. Honestly, it's weird, but it's a mental game. It's like, man, instead of getting completely dusted and returning zero, you're getting some cheese.
When you get
back.
the donut back, it definitely plays with the psychology. Because then the next day you're like, I can't get zero. And then if you somehow get zero back the second day, then it's like, ooh, I got to get off this slide.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, guys, if you could please hit the like, subscribe to this video, it helps us out a ton. This was not a planned show today. We obviously want to jump on for the people. Some people in the Discord were talking about it. And, sometimes the members like to hold back the likes because they want to get the plays of the day in the Discord chat. Here's the thing. We weren't even going to do a show. So if we don't get the likes up to the number that we need to get it to, we're not even giving the Discord plays in the chat as well. We're not even doing that. I'm already saying that because we weren't going to do a show for you guys. So please hit that like. Appreciate it a ton over here at Run Pure Sports. Again, if you want to sign up, go use that code RPS Heater 25, get you 25% off. Before we kind of dive in and talk about this MLB slate, a couple last things I wanted to talk about. Tony, let's talk about the golf stuff that we got going on, because again, there's tons of content over here. We got tons of big prize pools. Hoop did a show yesterday. It's free here on the YouTube channel. So if you want to check that out, be sure to go back and see what Hoop's on, Snyder and AP. But Big T, you got the value plays on your new piece of content. So talk about some of the content you're doing. You got the premium show coming up, I believe, at 3 p.m. as well. And then also talk about your ship the other day. And you had a nice little comment in the chat that kind of helped helped you get that done. And it was a little tip that you put in the Discord.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes, I think it's an important lesson too on the ship last week. So we did the show like always Wednesday. I had my plan. I did my 150 just like always. Everything was set. I had all 150 teams in, had my main team set. Everything was set. And then I wake up, my cores, everything on the page. So I wake up Thursday. I see there's a little bit more of a weather that afternoon, maybe some wind. So I'm like, I'm just going to do 30% of my teams with just early guys, because I looked at the teams and I like the early guys. It's like I say on a lot of these golf shows, it doesn't have to be weather to be an edge stacking the sides. Like you can still like your guys. And that's kind of how it was for me in the morning. So I went in the Discord, said I'm going to make some changes to the player pool. And I literally typed out like 8 or 9 names of morning guys. I said, I'm going to play 30%, just these guys, no one else, none of my player pool, none of it, just 30% of these guys, which means I always play 3 main teams in golf too. So one of my 3 main teams also was going to be just from this group of 8 or 9. I don't remember how many guys. And it just so happened that it was basically the total nuts. Those 9 guys, I think there's the list as Simon's putting on the screen, but like literally like 7 of the top 11 guys were in the Discord message I poked.
The crazy part about that is like the actual weather advantage wasn't all that substantial. Yeah. Like it was, I mean, by the numbers, obviously it worked out and all those guys ended up being at the top, but it's crazy how that worked out. But it just goes to show, like, man, doing stuff like that can definitely work to your advantage. And, props to you for obviously going back and changing your teams. A lot of people at that point would just say, fuck it.
I think 99% of people would do that. And that's kind of why I was leading into it. And it's like, until lineup lock, don't be scared to go in there and do something like that. And it always, just by doing that, it's getting you different. Like, so I had 70% Hadwin, but before this 30%, I had 100%. I was just locking Hadwin. So immediately, obviously Hadwin missed the cut. I'd have had him on every team. I would have lost. I would not have made money last week. Instead, I make $150,000 by my late change. Sure, sometimes it goes the other way too. You late pivot, it doesn't work out. but use all the information and don't be scared to go in there and rebuild it. You don't even have to do all of them. I still left 70% of my teams totally how they were. So I don't know. It's a lesson to be learned, I think. And then you can do that. I mean, all the stuff we got on the site, like Mangone was saying, my notes page, I think is awesome, like overview of everything. I put in all the core plays, the cash plays, everything on the same chart to go with the old history, the recent history, everything in one spot. That's kind of, I got the tee times for this week and next week up there too, just because sometimes we get some wave edges over across the pond. And I don't know, everything in one place. Hoops got the cash chart, which is obviously the best plays of the slate. We got a million things up here. The playbook, obviously, from Snyder and AP, where they go over basically all the good plays of the slate. Core plays, Tambo, everybody, Snyder. I think there's like 7 or 8 of us on there now doing the core plays. Tiers with Mangone, I think, is on there too, and everybody else is on the tier. I mean, we got literally unlimited content for the golf, and I know for a fact that our golf team is the best in the industry. I tell you, all of our sports are good. I have full confidence in every sport we do, but if there's one that I know we're the best at, it's golf, and we continue to show it week in and week out.
One more note about the cash chart real quick, because we got 2 cash chart guys here. Before I knew I shipped, I was like, man, I'm pretty sure like the cash chart had like the absolute nuts, and this was on FanDuel, but obviously you can use it in a multitude of different ways. The highlighted plays, Max Muncy, Schwarber, and Pena, and then Luis Garcia had pitchers. So if you use the cash chart core yesterday, you absolutely printed. I mean, that was probably good enough to win GPPs as well.
Yeah, a great way you could use the cash chart, like just thought of it now, Hoop, is like you can literally just go in and plug in like the best, like whatever pitcher you think is like, highlighted. And then from there, just take like the one-offs and then just make it do like a 4, like, all just one-offs. And like you get the 4-man stack then, and you have all those guys set up as one-offs. Like there's just so many ways that you can use it to help get you those really good.
That's how I'd use the cash chart if I was building. Like say, because it's happened. I've been golfing. I've been on a trip. I'll use the content just like anyone else. I'll pull it up. I'll find my favorite stack. I'll stack it, and then I'll go in and look at the cash chart or something to fill in the rest of my spots, and then I know that I got a chance.
Yep. There's tons of great ways to use the content over here at Run Pure Sports. Adam in the chat said his first time heard of us. So Adam, if you haven't signed up, you can use that code RPSHeater25. Gets you 25% off your first payment. So be sure to check that out. And the members did respond with the likes. If you felt like, once I said it, we basically doubled our likes. So push those home. We appreciate it here, but let's talk about some MLB. I think it's a pretty easy slate, but I think it's an awesome one. I think there's going to be an advantage for us. And Big T, you did pretty well on the 4th of July, gave out some winners there. I know Hoop was on that show too. I wasn't able to catch that thing, but hey, heard you guys all did well, and wish I would have watched it. But give me your overview of the slate so far, Big T. I'm curious to hear your quick overview because I think I know exactly what you're thinking.
Everyone that knows me knows I love these short slates, showdowns to 3-4 games. The 4th of July slate was a 3 or 4 gamer, and literally everyone that watched that show should have printed because literally all the logos were up top. We just dominated. It's because these slates, you can get a freaking edge. And again, this is similar to that slate where Toronto has the highest total on the slate. People are going to play them. And it's worked. Me and Hoop have known each other 7, 8, 9 years now doing that. Like if you stay away from these shitty ballparks in baseball, over the long run, you're going to make a lot of money. And I continue to do it. Some people can't stay away from it. They'll just play. I will not play Toronto on this slate, and people are going to play them. They're good. They're the highest. They're the highest total team, which means they're going to get ownership. So immediately, that's my edge.
What's the good ballpark then? So like the reason I was asking is because I know Oakland does play a little better in the day. So I actually thought there's a chance you might be on them because Barrios sucks too. And
I wasn't talking about the Oakland side as much. You can play Oakland. I was talking about the chalky, high total Toronto side where literally my favorite edge in baseball is playing big offenses with huge park downshifts. My favorite thing in baseball is playing teams that come from a terrible park and get a park upgrade because I don't think people factor it enough. I really don't. I like shitty teams. Like it could even be Oakland. Like say Oakland goes from this series to Cincinnati. I'm sure they don't, but say they did that. I would absolutely love Oakland in Cincinnati when they're usually playing in Oakland. It's a way bigger upgrade than people give it credit for.
Well, my favorite thing I just thought of here, like, this is awesome. So, like, Big T is the guy that literally stays away from these spots. Hoop, I feel like, is going to slam the Jays and find a way to make it different and do great, which is like incredible. Like, and you guys both are crushing with it. So, Hoop, actually, let me get your take on it. Like, based on what Big T said, you're smiling. What's your thoughts here on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for the ballpark stuff, and that's, where Big T and I usually align quite a bit. We avoid like the shitty, pitcher type ballparks. Why play bats in San Francisco or Oakland or Seattle? 4-game slate, Toronto highest team total, and we're 30 minutes from. I still buy into that theory as well. Like the later lineups that haven't come out yet lowers the ownership. So I think Toronto could be a little bit lower owned. I mean, we're 30 minutes from lock. Their lineup's still not out. So I think that can work in our favor here a little bit, but I definitely will be on Toronto today.
This is one spot I want to influence Hoop on. Some of the stuff in baseball, I think I've influenced them a little over what you're saying is, but it's even more of an edge for us to ship though on these slates because there's nothing there. Like no one's playing the Cubs against Burns. No one's playing the A's. Like, look at these spots. No one's playing Detroit. Like everyone's going to play Toronto.
Where do you go though?
Anywhere, because they're all
the other spots are going to be. Yeah, they're not.
Well, it's anywhere because if one spot fails, then like it's your goal.
Because when Toronto fails, you're shipping everything. Like everyone that follows it is shipping. Like it's insta ship.
I just don't think they're going to be as highly owned as you think.
Who are they going to play?
Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee has a chance to.
Yeah, Milwaukee and Toronto. Like that's who people are going to play.
One interesting factor that goes into it is there's really good pitchers on this slate, right? And like, for instance, look at that Cubs lineup. That Cubs lineup is horrific. Like Corbin Burns, like literally, Tony, you want your guy that's getting 40. Corbin Burns is probably outscoring my.
Yeah, I mean, you're not. That's another nice part about this slate. Like you're just not fading Corbin Burns. You're just playing him. These are the slates that I like the best.
Like you get Burns and Bieber. You can just plug them in, and then it's hard to get in Toronto. Yes, they are. That combo is chalky. So if you get off of one of them, that could make you different in that way, right? You go to a Joe Ryan against the White Sox, who have not been that great this year. You could take a chance on Berrios against Oakland, and Oakland's not that good, but I don't think Berrios is that good either. Lance Lynn is obviously a guy you can take a shot on. Like there are guys that you can go to for cheap where I think people will talk themselves into Ryan, Berrios, and Lynn to be able to get in those bigger Jays. I mean, let's talk pitching real quick. So Big T, you made it pretty clear. I think you're just like,
I mean, both these guys are going to be 70% owned. So like, they're not going to be low owned, but that's 30% that are fading one of them. And probably 50 to 60 are not playing both of them. So there's a big edge right there alone. Like, look at their freaking projections. They're projected like double any other pitcher, not double, but significantly ahead of these other guys. So,
and it's nice where you still got to pay some for them too, where people, you got to make sacrifices in your lineup to play both these pitchers. So less people will do it together. So I agree there. Pitching's super easy on this slate. Like there's not much to talk about here. I mean,
the only other guy I would even consider is Berrios, just because huge ballpark, a lot of I still like Oakland better against lefties, like we saw yesterday. I don't like it near as much, but I could at least make a case for Berrios.
So you guys just think Burns, Bieber, no interest in really Ryan or Lynn, and maybe Berrios. Is that kind of the breakdown?
Yeah, for sure. For me.
Yeah. Berrios has been really bad. I mean, I played him a lot early on. His last 3 starts have been horrible.
I know. That's why I like the A's a little bit today. I think they're a nice little mini.
Dude, I keep taking pitchers against the A's, and they pound. I mean, they just pound people.
I've been on the A's all year. Their lineup is not as bad as people think it is. Like you look at their guys. I know everyone laughs when they've been laughing at me all year about Oakland. I wouldn't full stack Oakland ever, but they got guys that can hit. They just do.
Yeah, I don't think they're as good at the full stack. They're way better for the mini where you can jam in these 2 stud pitchers. You still get in a good offense. Maybe you get in Hoops Toronto. Maybe it's a game stack today. That's what I kind of like. I think that Toronto Oakland game stack is really interesting. I haven't ran too much of it yet, but I definitely want to look at that for sure. Let's go on to the games. We'll go game by game. You guys could please like and subscribe to this video. It helps us out a ton over here at Run Pure Sports. Also want to mention some of the members that never win, right? We talked about Big T wins. We talked about Hoop winning. Let's talk about some of the members that win because people don't think that they win. But we got Landa. He won 2K and then 3K in back-to-back slates. That was on 4th of July when we had that show for you guys. And definitely Run Pure was at the top of a lot of
Landa just prints constantly. I mean, Landa always finds his way to the top. Absolute hero.
Yep. We got Rookie B making cash, 6,500 in the esports streets. So congrats to him. King D3, 10K in MLB. Pinto got flow, 14K. He even said he might name his first kid Tony after it. So look at that. He
that was after that Pinto's 4th of July.
What?
That had to be after the 4th of July one.
People were excited about the 4th of July.
Oh, yeah. People were loving the 4th. B Dozer, he won 50K in the PGA streets. And then Hoop, 100K. And then Big T, 150K in the PGA. And the nice Discord shop that he called to help the members get to the top leaderboard. So if you have not signed up at Run Pure Sports, now's the time. Use that code RPS Heater 25, get you 25% off. Join the movement. We want to see you guys over here at Run Pure. But let's go game by game. Talk about this slate. Let's talk about the Guardians and the Tigers right away. And Hoop, let's go to you because we got the, got Detroit. And hey, I know Detroit is a team that you don't love to play, and you're not going to play them against Bieber, I don't think. But the Guardians, you might have some interest in them. They have a decent total, but like my worry with the Guardians is like, I don't think they're right. Like, I just think this team is an absolute mess. I know Naylor's not there. The bottom of the order is bad. And like Jose Ramirez has not been right either. So I am out on the Guardians here. And I think people are going to be on them. So I'm kind of happy people are playing them. Yes, Michael Pineda is not that good, but what's your thoughts here, Hoop? Maybe you can convince me otherwise.
Yeah, no strong take here on Cleveland. I will have some exposure. I'm doing about 10 teams, I think, on DraftKings. I will have a little bit of Cleveland, but they're not going to be like a main team at all. You're just betting on talent with Jose Ramirez. He hasn't been great. The price has come down, so you're getting a little bit of a break on him. So I think he's a fine option. But, man, you just pull up the box scores on these guys, and no one is doing anything. So it makes it very difficult. Reyes, I guess, has been hitting okay. I have some interest in him. Really cheap, 3.2K. You can get a cheap first baseman in Owen Miller at 2.5K. So, like I said, I'm doing 10 teams. I'll probably have 2 teams that include Cleveland. Am I excited about it? Hell no. But, it's a 4-game slate. We don't have many options. And, these guys are pretty cheap overall, I'd say.
Yep, we got Ryan McGee in the chat, says back-to-back 1K days for him. So congrats to him on that. And Noah Moon wants to know what the move is today, Landa. So maybe Landa's going to give out some, some offenses here in the chat.
Is Landa in the chat?
Yep, Landa's in the chat.
I don't think I've ever done a show that Landa hasn't been in the chat. He's the man.
Landa's always hanging with us. So if you want to hang with us all the time, subscribe to the channel, hit that red button over there. Our producer Simon appreciates it a ton. So please do that for him. Big T, what about you? Are you on this Guardians Tigers game? It's a 7.5 total. Obviously there's not a lot of big totals here, but what's your thoughts here on this game?
So, man, Cleveland has been one of the teams that I just haven't played all year. And to be honest, it's worked out for me. They just never get it done. It is a 4-game slate. Like I said, I'm not playing Toronto. So it could be a slate where I stack Milwaukee or something and kind of mix and match a little bit with it. And with expensive pitching, you can definitely play like a one-off of some of these guys in the middle, like Franny Reyes. Like, let me see, what has he been? I mean, he's been decent, a couple bombs. I mean, nothing crazy. The one guy I will for sure not be playing though with Toronto is Jose Ramirez. He's just been terrible. And he's 5,100, and on these short slates, these guys always end up higher owned than you think because go to third base. Just isn't that much.
This is why he's high owned, Tony. Jose Ramirez, Patrick Wisdom at 4.7, Gio Urshela 3.9, Matt Chapman 3.7, Urias 3.5, Moncada 3K. Yes, there are some value plays that you can like there, but there's just no one to spend on as like a stud, and he's just going to naturally have a lot of ownership.
I think I got Big T's player pool figured out. Oakland 1 through 9, Jace Peterson, top pitchers, leave 4K on the table and Brent.
Juan Moncada too. My boy Moncada is always free. You got Moncada 3K. Peterson, does he ever go against? They go against righties every day. The dude faces Sampson today. How the hell could you not pull? Jace Peterson's a hero.
Look at that box score. Yeah, he's been crushing.
The dude just prints. He's just it reminds me of Freddie Galvis a few years ago, where no one would ever play him, and he would crush every damn day. And now this is Jace Peterson. Just he's 3% owned every day. Today he won't be just because it's a 4-game slate, but he still won't be high. I mean, what, 10%, 12, 15% maybe? But that's nothing on a 4-game slate. So, yeah, third base is actually my most easy position. We're not going position by position, but just to show why I'm not playing Jose, the two guys Hoop just said, Jace Peterson and Juan Moncada. I'm playing those two guys. I'm not playing anyone else at third base. So those are my two guys. Cleveland, I just struggle with the pieces. Like, I said it yesterday about I think it was Philly that I said, where it's an optimizer team to me, where I say stack Cleveland, play 5 of these guys, and I just don't even want to look at it. Just give me 5, because I just like, who do you like? I hate Cleveland. They freaking, their lineup sucks. And yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't think I'll be playing much. I was trying to find a one-off you could maybe play from Detroit on this slate. I went one by one, and outside of just total salary savings with one of these 2K guys, Riley Green at 2,600, I think you could play as a one-off just for leverage against Bieber too, but nothing I love in this game.
All right, we can move on to the next game. We'll talk about the Brewers and the Cubs. And I just found out the Brewers, the roof is open, but it's only 68 degrees. So like a lot of these games, like weather, I don't think it's going to be like this, like massive factor. Yeah, there might be some spots where like the wind blows out. I think Chicago, it could be, but not too worried about that there in Milwaukee. And yeah, it's a low total at 7.5, but that's because Corbin Burns is on the mound against a Cubs team that they don't have anyone, right? Like they're not playing Contreras. They're not playing Suzuki. Like this lineup is gross today. So Hoop, let's go over to you because you love your boy Rowdy Tellez, and this Brewers team is a good way to be different. That's another thing I love about this team on this slate. They're like easy to make your team different all the time at the bottom of the order. So Hoop, how are you handling this Brewers team? So I think it's a team you're definitely going to have exposure to and are going to have some ownership here on this slate.
Yeah, love the Brewers. Prefer them over Toronto. So that's one spot where I think Big T and I will agree. The thing I like about the Brewers the most is that last point you just made. You can play everyone. I love these teams where you can just play everyone top to bottom. Let's think, like Boston Red Sox. Hate Boston because you can only play like their top 5 or 6 guys. You get to the bottom of the lineup and it's just so dusty down there. You don't want to touch anyone. This Brewers lineup, you can go top to bottom. You get a catcher in Narvaez, 3.7K, Jace Peterson, 2.6, like Big T. You pull up that box score, man, this guy has been very impressive. I mean, he just gets the job done. Double-digit fantasy points in 5 out of 7 games, it looks like. That's solid. And then Jonathan Davis. Know nothing about Jonathan Davis, but he's 2K and batting last, and I'll be playing some Jonathan Davis as well. So love this team top to bottom. Tellez, probably my favorite play on the slate. I mean, obviously it's a little biased because I've been on this guy all season and all he does is hit homers. But man, is he in the MVP race or what? I mean, this guy just gets the job done for us here. So definitely on Tellez, the entire Brewers lineup in play, and then just not picking on Corbin Burns. And like you said, man, this lineup is awful. Nelson Velasquez batting 5th for the Cubs. Like this is a bad lineup. So big boost to Burns, no Cubs. Love the Brewers top to bottom.
Yeah, and Johnny Davis. So he's a guy I don't really want to play, but I'll just say this. When do you want to play him? Well, like his best games so far, and he hasn't been great. They've been against Pittsburgh. You want him when he's against these bad teams. Like this is when he can have those bigger games, and especially against the bad bullpens like the Cubs, the Reds. So definitely a spot to kind of play these like lower on guys at the bottom of the lineup. Big T, what about you? Are you playing some Brewers here? Obviously, you're not playing any Cubs. What's your kind of take on it?
Yeah, I like the Brewers, especially the lefties, like always. I mean, Yelich, Rowdy, Jace Peterson would be my 3 favorites. And then the nice part about playing those 3, you got the 1, the 3, and the 8. So you can kind of get really different inside your Milwaukee stack, no matter who else you put in there. One guy I wouldn't play is Colton Wong. I just never play Wong. The good part is I really like guys like Polanco at second base, so I don't have to play Wong anyways. But that's one thing I kind of do too in my stacks. I'll throw out a few guys if I just really don't. Let me pull on old Wonger here. Like, has he done anything?
pull on the old Wong.
I just never play this guy.
I mean, he hasn't been that bad. I mean,
he was better than I thought when I pulled him up. I just never play him. I mean, I will play those.
Big T doesn't like white athletes or Asian athletes. It's 2 things you can count on.
I'm trying to think of.
Well, unless they're going against Garrett Cole, right? That's the only time he likes aging back.
That's just him.
I know. Just
yeah, I mean, I like the Jonathan Davis call, especially when we need salary. My only issue with him is just having him in the outfield, but again, it makes you different. And if you play Jace at third base, I'm using Jace more in the outfield, so it makes it a little tough because I want Yelich too when I'm playing this spot. So then all my outfielder would kind of be in the same spot. But yeah, I like Milwaukee. They're my favorite team of the slate. I want as much as I can of them. And I mean, definitely no. I was trying to find I still don't mind looking for one-offs against these teams, but man, the only guy I could even think of is Wisdom, and I'm not paying $4,700 for a guy against Corbin. Like if Wisdom was like $2,500 or something, I would maybe use him as a one-off on Burns just because he's been really good lately, but not at that price.
Yeah, and just a quick tip for the people, like we got 15 minutes to the slate. Locks are actually 20 minutes, but there's like an hour between like the next game. So like if you're not playing anyone in the Guardians and Tigers game like myself, just make sure you put a ton of guys from the later games, backload it up, and then just put Bieber in there and you're perfectly fine. Because that's what I did. So definitely a tip for you guys. If, you're scrambling or maybe make a mistake and leave a guy in there that you don't want to, that's an easy way to kind of fix that up here. But let's move on over and talk about the next game. I'm curious to get your guys' take on this one. It's the Twins and the White Sox. It's like 75 degrees. Wind is blowing out to right field. So, man, White Sox against Joe Ryan and like Twins against Lance Lynn. It doesn't seem like an ideal spot to stack it up, but maybe take some one-offs here and there. Maybe it's like a Jorge Polanco. Also, this White Sox lineup, it is getting better. Moncada's in the 7-hole. We got Eloy Jimenez is back. Gavin Cheats in the 5-hole. And then you got Anderson, Vaughn, Robert, and Abreu. So White Sox lineup is a little better. I know, what's it called? DC has talked a lot about how Joe Ryan kind of pitches into the zone a lot more. So if the White Sox can make the contact, it could go yard. So I don't know. I'm not loving playing the White Sox, but if you tell me they maybe don't have ownership, maybe I'd be more interested. The problem is some of those price tags are really nice on these guys. Big T, let's go back over to you first. What are you doing with this game? It's an 8.5 total. Is this one you're looking to get exposure to? Because you talked about not liking this Blue Jays and Oakland game.
Yeah, I got 3 teams, I think, on DK. I don't even think I played FanDuel. I didn't see any contests. So
the contests suck like always.
Yeah, so whenever there's morning slates, they always suck. So I got 3 teams. I'll definitely have one where I go full game stack of this game. And then the other 2, I'll probably mix and match with some Milwaukee guys. I definitely like this game, especially some of the bats towards the top. Like Minnesota, I think 1 through 7. I don't like Gio. This Jeffers has been horrendous at catcher. Every time I play him, he gets 0. So I don't think I would play. One thing I've done this year a lot too is don't just punt off catcher just to make it work. Like I try to find a guy I at least like a little bit, which this guy from the White Sox has been pretty decent. Just looking at his numbers, a bunch of double-digit games. He's 3,100, so I don't think people will play him. I think at catcher, and that's another thing with Milwaukee. I'm not going to play Narvaez. I never play his ass. So I won't put him in my Milwaukee stack. So kind of giving my whole team away again on the show, but I won't play Wong and I won't play Narvaez. So that only leaves pick 5 of those 7. So like those, and kind of the same thing with Minnesota. Jeffers has been, maybe I'd play him if I had to, but he's been terrible. I'd rather play even like Vogt. We were talking about one-offs. I love Vogt against righties. Barrios struggles against lefties. We're not on that game, I know, but I'm just using the example of a catcher. I could use Vogt as a one-off. And then the White Sox, I like pretty much their whole lineup against Ryan, who I haven't thought has been great. So like Mangone said, they're getting healthy, right? You got Eloy back in the 6. You got the catcher I was talking about. It's been pretty hot in the 9-hole. Really, the only guy I don't like is Leury Garcia. And he's so cheap and he's eligible at 2 positions that the White Sox might actually be my second favorite team to kind of load up on it. We got Oakland lineup, as I was talking, Vogt in the 5-hole, which is exactly where I wanted him. So I definitely like Vogt at catcher.
Yeah, I mean, if you are going to like go down to catcher, right? If you don't like a guy, maybe think he's going to be like the chalky, cheap one, you can always just get off him, right? And just go to some other guy and just like pray. Like, I mean, it's catcher. They're all not that great and they all can get zeros. So I think that's perfectly fine there. Hoop, let's go over to you. Is this a game stack spot? I mean, I like doing game stack sometimes on these slates, and like people look at Lance Lynn and like Ryan and like, I don't know, they're fine, but they're not the best pitchers on the slate. And I think they do have some flaws that can show, and there are some good bats in these offenses. So what are you doing here with this game?
Yeah, certainly more interested in the White Sox side against Joe Ryan, and their lineup starting to round into form. I mean, a guy like Moncada batting seventh, like he's typically a middle of the lineup guy. So you can go all the way down, I think, in this lineup. Catcher super weak today, so you can definitely play this Sebi dude at 3.1K all the way at the bottom. So again, a lineup I look at here and say, hey, I can play everyone in it. You know, I'm interested for sure. Team total is approaching 4.5. It's come up a little bit. So interested in the White Sox for sure. My boy Gavin Sheets batting fifth, probably my favorite play on this team. And then with the Twins, I don't think I want a full stack against Lynn. Like, I don't know, when he's on, it's a lot of ground balls, boring baseball. I mean, he has the ability to really limit teams. So maybe like some 3-man stacks with Buxton. Kirilloff is a guy I would include. Jorge Polanco is a guy I would include. So maybe like those three, like Polanco, Buxton, Kirilloff. You can include Kepler as well, but I'm not interested, I don't think, in fully stacking the Twins. Maybe just more of like a 3-man stack with those core guys that I just mentioned. And then the White Sox, yeah, probably my third team here on the slate behind Milwaukee and Toronto. And like I said, the nice part about the White Sox, you can play everyone here top to bottom, and that makes it nice for stacking. And, you know, they fill a lot of different positions as well. A couple guys that have multiple position eligibility. So good situation here for the White Sox.
Yeah, here, Tony, here's something I could see you doing. And it's off the board. I don't know. You typically do the full 5-man, but just say you had a 4-man Brewer stack, right? Or a 5-man Brewer stack.
Shorter slates, I don't have to have 5-man. I could do 4.
Like, you could change your second base. If you like the Brewers and the White Sox, you see Colton Wong, you don't want to play. Lori Garcia, you don't want to play.
Yeah.
Herrera's fine, but he's not like, you're not in love with him. And then, yeah, Urias is a good one, but he's 3.5K into the 4-hole and everyone's going to have him. Just turn that into Jorge Polanco and then call it.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell everyone right now, just because I like the people, I'm playing Polanco on every team. Like Polanco's been crushing the baseball. Lance Lynn's always struggled with guys like Polanco. I mean, what's his BVP? He's got to have some BVP.
He's been a loyal Big T soldier for a few years now.
He's always treated me good.
He's the reason Big T keeps playing the Twins, to be honest.
He's got to be close getting that Purple Heart or whatever the
word
is.
He's there. He's already on Mount Rushmore. Let me see.
So he's 4 for 14 at the second base. Nothing crazy.
Yeah, no, he's gonna hit a bomb today for us, though. I like, I mean, I'm playing him. The only way I wouldn't is if I guess Jace is third base. I was thinking Jace was second base. So yeah, I mean, I'm playing Polanco.
Yeah, I figured you'd have a lot of him for sure. Definitely a good game to get exposure to. Tons of ways you can make the lineup different. Even Landis said in the chat, Sebi Zavala, he had a 3-home run game last year. Like, he's a guy that has upside. Like, it's like Martin Maldonado. Yeah, There'll be spots where he gets you a 0, but sometimes he'll be that low on guy that just hits 2 bombs in one night. Like, some of these catchers have that power and ability, and you just kind of want to be on them on those times. Like, and that could be a huge difference maker for you. So let's move on over to the next game. And it's the last game of the slate, I believe. Yep. It's the Oakland and Blue Jays game. So we'll go to Big T first on this one, because he loves to talk about Oakland. What are you doing here with Oakland? And I mean, you're saying you're going to fade the Jays, so it's going to be an interesting spot to hear your take and then get hoops on how to handle it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely fading the Jays. They haven't even been close to scoring in this park, and they hit some fly balls again last night that they looked like they killed, and they just don't get out of the park. It's in the 60s right now, it looks like, in Oakland. I'm definitely out again on Toronto, but the Oakland side's easy for me. It's these cheaper guys. For sure, vote at catcher like I talked about. You got Elvis at 22K at short. You got Piscotty at 2K in the outfield. I mean, I'm not spending salary on Oakland, but any of these cheap guys that in the middle of the lineup are definitely plays that I'll fill my lineup. Like, say I get to the last spot on my team and I got to play Piscotty. Like, I think I'd play Piscotty over Jonathan Davis. Both outfielders I know, but I think Jonathan Davis will be a little more with the Milwaukee stack. So when Piscotty hits a bomb, and he's with my Milwaukee team, I think that makes me unique. And that's kind of one of the things I like to do in baseball on these shorter slates. A bigger slate, not so much. I would play Jonathan Davis and complete my stack. Shorter slate, I want to be a little bit more unique than the field. So I think I'd play Piscotty over Jonathan Davis in that spot. And Vogt, I can almost guarantee I'm going to play Vogt on almost all my teams too.
All right. Well, it looks like you're going to have Vogt the GOAT on your teams. A little Piscotty too. I know Piscotty hit one the other day. So
I like that. Vogt the GOAT.
Yeah,
I
Vogt
like
the GOAT. He's been a guy since basically I started playing DFS who's been good to me back when he was on Oakland. So
remember when on FanDuel, he was 2K for 2 years straight. They never adjusted his price. He was 2K and he'd always hit bombs. And that's when you had to play catcher. Remember, you had to play catcher.
Every day in cash games. Just give me a Vogt while other people don't do it. I'll just punch him and fill out all the other stuff.
It was literally 2 years straight where they didn't adjust his price. He was always 2K and just print it.
Oh yeah, it was definitely the best. Let's move on over to you, Hoop. So it sounds like you're playing the Jays. So give me your strategy on it. How are you handling it here? Talk to me about the Jays and the A's.
I like him even more now because this lineup's not out. I stick by it. Last night, on FanDuel, Max Muncy was clearly one of the best value plays on the slate at 2.7K. I think he came in at 12% owned or something. If that lineup was out at 4 p.m. Eastern, there's no way that he's 12%. I think we get another situation here where, Toronto is going to be low owned. I have a majority of my team sitting here with all Toronto and Oakland guys, so I can come back and make some adjustments here, mostly fading that first game. So we're going to have some time to edit some of these rosters. But yeah, I'm in on Toronto here. This is why Big T is better than Hoop, because he can go ahead and just fade the spot. And I'm sure he's going to print today.
We've known each other too long. I know what I'm good at, and I know what Hoop's good at better, and he knows the opposite. Hoop's the best at just jamming the chalk in these things. And one of the things I think I do better is these short slates that I just think you got to be a little more clear in the stands. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, but you can make the case, obviously, for Oakland on the slate because it's a 4-game slate and we just don't have the offenses to go to. I'm going to be on Toronto and not on Oakland in terms of stacking Toronto. It is somewhat difficult, I will say. Just playing around with some of these teams, if you go with Burns and Bieber, it's hard to play these guys. Even the guys at the bottom still have somewhat of a price tag. Chapman, 3.7K, Santiago, 3.8K, whereas in some of these other bottom of the order guys, they're 2K flat. So you still are paying a premium. So it is a little more difficult to make it all work, but I'm going to do my best to get over on all these Toronto guys. Alejandro Kirk, assuming he's in there, a class of his own at the catcher position. There's just there's not many options here at catcher. Vogt is obviously fine at 2.9K, but yeah, I'll be heavy Toronto and then fading Oakland here.
Yep, definitely going to be a good spot here for to load up on some A's, some Jays. I don't think it's a bad way to go, but I do agree with Big T a little bit on the Jays thing. There could be a lot of fly ball outs. Keep that in mind. It's that Oakland Park, but we'll have to see. I know Stevie Boynton, he's in the chat. I'm sure he's going to like his daytime A's, and he says Big T, Wong is the best numbers against righties on the entire Brewers team this year. So any change for you on the Colton Wong thing, or does he just have a small?
I'm not playing fucking Colton Wong over Polanco. I'll tell you that much.
Okay,
I am not doing that.
Wong's hitting a dong. That's my guy. I just tagged him on the cash chart on both sides.
God. He is not on the cash chart.
He's tagged. He's highlighted. There's a free pick from the cash chart today.
I will say, Hoop, you should thank me for Alex Bregman yesterday. I threw in you can play the Astros.
Wong is not on the cash chart.
And then of course,
is the curse of the free show where you talk shit about someone, they automatically hit a dong.
Yeah, I casually threw it in, right? I didn't hammer it home, right? I just threw it in as in passing, and then Title just pointed it out. So
the Bregman bomb was huge yesterday too, because he was kind of unique in that stack.
Oh, he was 4% owned in that contest. Yeah. No one played him.
Yeah. That's what happens when you have so many 5K guys on a team that are expensive, and the one guy that no one wants to play, he just comes in literally at no ownership because you run out of money to get them all in there. So Bregman definitely got the job done there.
He was the last guy I took out of my lineup too, because I needed I needed one more Dodger guy, and I put Turner in there.
How
I
bad
was
is
a donkey.
Turner? Gosh, Turner sucks. He's the one guy. I stack the Dodgers more than anyone. He's the one guy in that entire lineup that I almost like refuse to play just because I watch these.
Smart move.
Well, I mean, I still play him a little bit, but like way lower than these other guys. He has just like been awful this year, terrible.
Guys, if you could please hit the like, subscribe to the channel, helps us out a ton. We appreciate it. We'll give out the plays of the day, stacks, all that stuff. Again, we got like 6 minutes to lock, but lock is weird today. You got one game coming up.
We got 6 extra minutes. I thought it was locking now.
No, you got 6 minutes, Soup, and like on top of it, you have the time later on, right? If you're playing Oakland and the Jays, you can figure it out later. So it's perfectly fine. So a couple more things in the chat. Big T, this is a question for you. Any love for Laureano? Because I know you like to talk about these A's. Is Laureano one of those guys you'd be getting in there?
He's a little bit more pricey than I want. I don't think I'll use much of him just because of that. And again, he's an outfield spot where I want Yelich. I just, like Buxton, Kepler, like I'd rather play. I know they're not the exact price, but Kepler I'd play over him. I don't hate him. I mean, especially if you're like a mini, say I was playing Laureano, Piscotty, Vogt or something. Yeah, I don't hate him. I'll keep it simple. I don't hate him. I'm not like forcing him in though. He would be my third favorite A though. Fourth favorite behind Elvis.
Okay, let's go on to the stacks real quick. I mean, it's a 4-game slate, but give me your favorite stack. You got to pick only one team. Who's the stack that's your favorite today?
Tempted to just go all in on Milwaukee, just all Milwaukee stacks and go from there. So yeah, it's going to be Milwaukee. And then second, obviously I like Toronto. I'm not going to say that. I think the White Sox, just because I like their lineup and it just looks good top to bottom. Like, again, it's a lineup where you can play everyone. So Brewers and then the White Sox.
All right, Big T, how about you? What you doing with stacks?
Yeah, definitely Milwaukee for me would be my one. But as I'm building teams, as kind of the show goes on, I don't think I'll have a full stack. If I did, it would be a game stack of that Minnesota game, actually. I won't full stack Milwaukee, I don't think. I don't like enough of their pieces where So my 3 teams, I'll have one full stack of the Minnesota game, and then I'll have 2 teams where Milwaukee heavy, but not the full 5-man, I don't think.
Here's the Milwaukee winner. All right, I'm gonna build it. Let's build a team on the show and see if this thing how this pans out. If you go, my guy Wong in it. It's starting with Wong. All right, it's gonna go Wong. It's gonna go our Keston Hire guy. I know you don't like Narvaez, but we're putting him in there.
Putting all the dudes I don't like in there. This is the Milwaukee fade team.
You got your guy Jace. Jace is making an
put
appearance.
Jace with those losers. Keep Jace off this team.
Hey, listen, what's going to happen is Wong is going to get on. Hire is going to get on. Narvaez, and then Jace is going to bring it home with the Grand Slam. How about that? Can you get on board?
I'd take a Grand Slam. That's something I'd be interested in.
But yeah, okay. So if you do that, and then who's our other Milwaukee guy? Rowdy. No, we can't do that though. All right, we'll put Yelich in there. Do that, and we're left with 4.3K for the rest. So that's I'm going to build this team out and see what we can find here.
All right, we got to give out our plays of the day, so we'll do that here shortly as well as Hoop is filling out that team, bringing those winners for the people. Again, please like and subscribe to the channel, helps us out a ton. Also, before we kind of dive into the plays of the day, got 2 minutes before lock, so obviously get your teams in. But I do want to mention the schedule that we have coming up for the day. I think that you guys would like to hear that, so let me go through that right now. 3 o'clock, I believe it's at. Big T, is that correct? Still 3 o'clock for the Pin Seeker show?
3 o'clock, yep.
3 o'clock premium show. Be sure to check that out. 4:45 MLB Swing for the Fences show. You got Holden, Title, and Gary. They'll be bringing you the winners here for free on the YouTube channel. And then on the Up to Lock show, you got me, you got DC, and you got Steve Boynton. So we'll be talking some of the premium stuff. We'll be breaking down this slate for you guys. And then don't forget too, we also got on the bet side over at the Rum Pure Bets YouTube channel. We'll have some golf winners there at 7 o'clock. So be sure to check that out. Tons of stuff over here at Rum Pure Sports. But now time to move over to the plays of the day. Big T, let's go over to you first. Who do you got? Who is your play of this early slate?
Yeah, I got to make it fun on the show since he's trying to own me with Wong. I got to take my boy Polanco. As the second base versus second base standoff, basically the same price range. Polanco is going to shove his cock right in Wong.
All right, Polanco it is. That is the guy that you're going to. Hoop, let's go over to you. Who do you got? Are you just going with Wong or are you going with someone else? Who do you got for your play today?
I will say, just to clarify, Wong was highlighted before your negative comment. So
he was?
Yes,
that makes me feel better.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, it was not a rebuttal of your comments on Wong. Wong was already a highlighted play, and then naturally, if Hoop likes someone, Big T is just naturally gonna dislike. But now at this point, there's no turning back. Your guy Polanco is going to be the receiver, not the pitcher. He's going to be the catcher today. He's not going to be the pitcher. My boy Wong is delivering the Wong in your guy Polanco's ass. Give me Colton Wong, play of the day.
All right, Colton Wong it is for the play of the day. I'm going to go over to let's go over another guy that you can pair with Big T's guy with Polanco. Let's go with Max Kepler. Nice lefty. We know Lance Lynn, he has his struggles against the lefties at times. So let's go with him. He'll be my play of the day. And that's going to wrap it up for us. It was fun to be on here.
Kirilloff's been a little hot too. I might like Minnesota more than I realized.
Yeah. DC had a tweeter like the other day that was like, it was like maybe a week ago, basically saying like, Kirilloff's going to be so good. Like just like kind of stroking him up a bit. And like, it seems like Kirilloff has kind of found his stuff lately. So like, yeah. I like this mini stack for sure. The Twins. I'm going to get exposure to it. I mean, he dropped 35 yesterday. Of course, there's definitely a chance he can have a big game today. So I'm looking to get some Kirilloff in some of these Twins. I'll definitely get exposure to him. It looks like a good game, and that wind is blowing out. So you have to have some interest in that. And also, Byron Buxton is in the lineup, which makes that Twins team just kind of work a little better because whenever he's not in the lineup, it feels like it never works out. So, but any final thoughts here from you, Hoop, Big T, or should we just get on out of here?
No.
Yeah, solid slate. I mean, nice little 4-game slate, and we'll continue the trend and get these RPS logos to the top of the leaderboard like always.
Before we get off, I need the one position I'm struggling with is shortstop. That's why I keep wanting to just play Elvis, but like who we like at short here. I need help at shortstop.
There's nothing here. I mean,
Adam is at 5'6".
I mean, that's who I keep playing, but my God, it's hard to pay 5'6". What do we got?
Play your shitty A's. You got two.
I think I might just play Elvis.
Elvis and Nick Allen. You can get them both.
I don't like Nick Allen as much. I like him. He's one of my splits guys that I get made fun of. I only play him versus lefties.
The problem with that position, it's like all the good guys are the super expensive.
They're 56, 50. I mean, all those dudes. I mean, even Timmy Anderson I usually like, but that's expensive versus righty. Like, you're right. I'm just gonna play Elvis.
Yeah, I say this is the perfect position, just punt or go all the way to the top, right? I mean, I think that's just a simple way to do it. So
it's tough too, because this is kind of where it's at. Like, you can play a stud like Buxton, Springer, Yelich with Elvis, or these shortstops with a punt like who was the 2K guy from Milwaukee?
Andrews?
Jonathan Davis. So I would much rather play Buxton and Elvis than Willie Adames and Jonathan Davis or something. That's kind of my 2v2.
I'm trying. Yeah, there's really. I mean, it's probably Elvis. And I mean, just Berrios is bad anyways. So I don't know. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's a bad way to go on this slate. And that's why you don't have to do like that 5-3 for sure. The 5-2-1s, like, you get a little different today. It's a 4-game slate. Everyone does those 5-man stacks. I think it's okay. But just like, I don't think you should do like all these different one-offs, be a little smart with your stacking.
I don't think you have to 5-man at all. I mean, sure, when the team is the only team that goes off, that's nice. But you're unique when you don't 5-man on these shorter ones. You still need to stack. Don't get me wrong. Don't have all one-offs. But
sure. One last guy we haven't, I don't know if you guys mentioned it, but Noah said Captain Kirk is going yard today. So we didn't even talk about Alejandro Kirk, the fat man in the catcher position. Does anyone like him? Hoop, are you any?
Guarantee Hoop likes him.
I definitely in on it. I mean, I said it when we talked about it, like he's in a tier of his own, like catcher. I mean, these catchers are, I mean, who do you play at catcher? I mean, you guys like Vogt.
I love Vogt.
Who else? And
I like Sevy a lot. I think he's a good one.
I'm playing Vogt on every team.
Why don't you like Narvaez?
I just never play him. He feels like a slap hitter to me. I never play slap. I mean, how many bombs?
I mean, he can. I mean, look at the game log. He definitely isn't like a slap hitter, of course. Like he's been crushing lately too. I mean,
he's got 3 bombs. I mean, he's kind of a slap hitter. I just don't ever play him. I think he sucks.
Yeah,
but we'll see. I mean, when Hoop's got him at 5% and he's at the top of the leaderboards and he's hit a bomb or two, then Hoop shipped in the Brewers. So
I did just build a very tasty Twins 5-man with the Brewers.
The Twins look like, I'll be honest,
Yeah,
the Twins look like the best 5-man of the slate.
Well,
like, to me.
The thing that's nice is like, I love these slates when you have like one pitcher that like the name is really good, but he does get hit pretty hard. And like that offense, if they get a hold of him, it's just like an absolute disaster for him. So like, and Lynn is, yeah, he's been good at times, but he's also gotten hit hard. So
and he's not good. He's never been good versus lefties. And the Twins have a bunch of lefties in Buxton. So it makes it a nice little stack.
It's the perfect spot for it. It draws up nicely. So I'm in on it. We got to get finishing up our lineups and everything. Obviously, we have tons of content coming for you over at Run Pure Sports. Like I said, 3 p.m. Eastern, we got the premium golf show. So be sure to check that out. Big T will be bringing those golf winners. So if you want to sign up now, sign up using that code RPSHeater25, get you 25% off. Then 445, we got the free show. So be sure to check that out. Title, Gary Holden. And then I'll be on the premium show with DC and Stevie Boyton. We'll be breaking all that down for you guys. But that is going to wrap it up for us here.
Not to totally derail us one more time, but Jose Ramirez, like being 40 to 50% owned is just egregious to me. Like, this is why I love short slates. The dude's been terrible, and he's that high on. Like, that's just egregious to me.
Oh yeah,
he is that high on?
Yeah,
that's what the dude in chat said. I hadn't pulled it up, but
obviously the Guardians are owned too, right? As a whole, because like people are gonna like.
What do they own? Before we get out, just like let's look at the ownership real quick, just because I think it's important on these 4-game slates.
All right, let's look. You can apply these to always the night slates too, and the night slates have a ton of like crappy West Coast games where like whatever the chalk.
The late night you're talking about.
What?
The like late night slate you're talking about.
Yeah, like there's always like a 2-3 game, right?
Yeah, the dude won 25K. Did you talk about him in the winners never win? Dude had one entry, I think, on a late slate last night, and I think he had $25 in and won 25K in the and it was a night slate. It was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Let me see.
I'm looking to see. So 3 outs already. I don't got any Indians at the top or Guardians at the top because they haven't got.
So here it is. Jose Ramirez 43%, Franmil 33%, Rosario 26%, Kwan 21%. That's egregious. Like, I can say right now, I'm not being results oriented. If you played the Indians at those ownerships, I think that is bad plays.
But I think that's the situation where people see the Blue Jays lineup's not out and they're like, shit, I got to go to a team that the lineup's out. It's a good sign
for your Jays. I'll say that much. That's just egregious ownerships. Like, if you're playing that kind of ownership on Cleveland, I don't care what the results are. Sure, they can hit bombs, and Pineda gives up bombs at times. But
no, I'm pissed. I played him on a couple teams.
That is crazy.
I'm nowhere near those numbers, but that is insane. But I think people build their teams early. A lot of people may be at work and they're like, all right, I got to jam this in quick. Give me some guys that I know are in the lineup and let's move on.
Well, I think part of it was the top end pitchers. And when you did that, those were like a good,
they're cheap.
Stack.
Yeah, they're cheap.
And they were early. There's a lot of, I think Hoops onto something with it. If you're at work, you want a little action. You see that early game, you're like, give me a little Cleveland action here.
Yeah.
Also, while we're on here, we got our 2 shows starting tonight, Big Brother and the Challenge, which I'm actually excited about.
The Challenge starts?
It's on CBS. You haven't seen those
damn.
previews?
Good thing you said
got
something.
Big Brother people, Amazing Race, Survivor, and Love Island all on the Challenge. It's on CBS for once, though. Back to back tonight. Both our shows. Kind of retired from running the pools. I'd like to get in one, though, if someone wants to take over and running it.
I got offered to go on a free one, Tony, and I haven't signed up yet because that sounds like work.
Someone should run it. Someone in the chat. Maybe we'll give you a free. What?
Go ahead.
If someone wants to run a Big Brother pool from the Discord, send me a message. Maybe we can give you a free membership or something if you want to run a Big Brother pool for us.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I have the sheet all set up. Literally, all you got to do is the tracking, and I just don't want to do it and collect the money.
My boy Biggio leading off for the Blue Jays. Fuck, now I hate the Blue Jays. He sucks.
What's the lineup? Springer's out?
Yeah.
Well,
Biggio legit sucks.
He is bad.
You can just fade Biggio. I mean,
the good thing is, like, when he's in the one hole, you can just not play him.
Yeah, people will play him. Like,
absolutely, they'll play him.
And
in the one hole?
What position is he eligible? What position is he eligible at?
I think first and second. Yeah, first and second.
He's going to be so high owned. He's 3,200 in the one hole.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I mean, that's fine. I'm actually happy.
That actually makes me like Toronto a little bit more.
I know, same.
Him being in the one hole because I just wouldn't play him.
What's the full lineup, Hoop? Read it to me.
Biggio, Bichette, Vlad, Alejandro, Teoscar, Gurriel, Chapman. My guy Tapia's in there, 2K flat. Don't forget about him.
That's what I was hoping. I was hoping there was like another value play that you could get in there, feel comfortable with.
Tapia would be the guy I'd play.
What?
With you. He's 2K. Tapia? I like.
You made fun of me forever about Tapia.
Yeah, but he came
through for me one night after you said that, and I liked him.
Well, he's 2K, and it's not 2K on like a 15-game slate. It's 2K on a 4-game slate. And
True.
I guess that's there's always
when guys treat me right, I don't forget them. I like people that come through for me.
Play some Mr. Wong today, and maybe
definitely now playing Wong.
All right, cool. Well,
Wong might be my least favorite player in all of baseball, so he's going to stick it right up today on me.
Oh yeah, for sure. We'll see if someone runs that Big Brother poll. Do you have anything else you want to say? I haven't looked at it that much, but I saw the cast. You never know who they are.
I haven't even been looking ahead of time. I like watching that first night.
They've done a bad job marketing. Like I haven't heard anything about the show, like in general.
Yeah. I will say they already lost a cast member. I saw.
I seen they got an alternate in there.
Yeah, they already got an alternate. Something happened.
I don't know what happened, but they added another dude in there.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have to imagine like going from just living a normal life and then going into that environment. I mean, there's got to be a good percentage of people that go in there and just like lose their shit. Like, get me the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
no doubt.
I don't know what happened, but it's definitely interesting to see.
It'll be a fun night though. I'm excited to watch those things.
I gotta make sure that challenge thing's recording. I didn't realize that was starting.
Right after Big Brother, or right before. I think right after.
I've never watched the challenge. Like, would it be one like I can jump into? I think
yes. You don't need to watch previous seasons. I personally think it's like the best show on TV. Like in terms of challenge, in terms of like competition and stuff like that, it's awesome.
I'll be interested to see the CBS version if it's as good.
Oh, it's on CBS?
Yeah, it's right on the main hosel. It's usually on MTV.
Yeah, that's surprising it moved over to there. That's cool though. All right, well, I'll give that a shot for sure. If you guys haven't, definitely check them out. I mean, I don't know if it was Tony. I don't think you got me the Big Brother, but you definitely talked about it a lot, which probably helped a little. So
Big Brother. I still like Big Brother.
Yeah,
Big
great
Brother's
show.
Great. But all right, that's going to wrap it up for us, guys. Thanks a lot for joining us here on this show, but we'll catch you on the other shows later in the day. So for me, Mango, and Big T, and Hoop, we'll see you guys later.